2021 is going to hold even more for gaming creators in terms of volatility and potential growth opportunity than this previous year. What are the platforms going to do? Twitch, DLive, Trovo, YouTube, Facebook Gaming, are they going to increase in viewership or decrease? And which platforms are going to go out of business potentially in 2021? Those predictions in this episode. Also, which types of games are going to trend up in 2021 and which ones are on the way out? We actually have numbers to show you in both of these regards to talk about in today's episode, not just guesses, but actual numerical facts that we've been studying over the course of the year in these trends. You will be blown away. You might be shocked by the findings. You might be unhappy, actually, if you're a PC and console gamer. And lastly, what about those legal and existential threats to your YouTube channel, to your Twitch stream, DMCA takedowns, copyright claims, community strikes? Is there going to be more of a problem in 2021 versus 2020? It is now technically a felony to stream copyright material. Thanks, Tom Tillis from the US Senate. All of that and more, all those predictions you need to know to have the right strategy, the best possible strategy to succeed in 2021 as a gaming content creator. Let's go.
This podcast is sponsored by Restream.
All right,
Why live stream to one platform when you can simultaneously live stream to every platform to discover new audiences faster using Restream.io?
All right, so my take. This is my spiciest take for 2021 is live stream viewership across the board is going to crash due to the end somewhat of a pandemic. It won't be the total end of COVID. We're still going to be dealing with it, but we've got vaccines now going across worldwide. We've got solutions to the problem. More people are going to be going out of their houses. We're going to watch the viewership crash on Twitch from this huge spike that it has been since COVID began. And likewise on Facebook Gaming, likewise across the board, YouTube Gaming as well. Anywhere where gaming live streaming is a thing, viewership is going to decline. As a result from that, Twitch is going to be reeling and going to be doing even more dramatic things to try to make up the loss of viewership and revenue. They're going to be implementing more aggressive advertising across platforms that you're going to be forced to watch. And they're going to be more restrictive on their creators. Creators who have not advertiser-friendly content are going to get banned and permabanned more often on the platform as Twitch struggles to try to find some way to generate revenue while working with their new owner, Amazon. Is that spicy enough for you guys?
That's spicy, but it's not just a hot take. You've got real numbers here. Show us the viewership numbers and the trend right now. I've got the Twitch average concurrent viewers on the platform on the screen. As we can see, that's not just you guessing that there's a downward trend right now in terms of viewership. It's real. Walk us through this.
Yeah, so the downward trend started in Q2 2020 to Q3. So we went from a peak of 2,300,000 average concurrent viewers in Q2 2020 down to 2.1 million average concurrent viewers. That's a loss of about 200,000 in one quarter. We're going to see an even bigger drop from Q4, from Q3 to Q4, and from Q4 to Q1 2021. That drop is going to be even more substantial during the next two quarters. And Twitch, as a result, is going to be doing even more dramatic plays to try to make up for the fact that they're not going to be at this huge peak viewership. Eventually, I think we will see it go down to close to levels that we saw in 2019, pre-COVID. That's my long-term prediction. By the end of 2021, we're going to see that in the numbers here. I think the full COVID-19 spike effect will actually just be a spike trend. We're so used to seeing spike trends. I think this is another one of those examples. And it's not just going to be on Twitch. This will be on Facebook Gaming. This will be across YouTube as well. So live streaming viewership as a whole will go down in 2021.
I got a spicy take to add on top of that. So I agree, live stream viewership will go down as people return to work, as the vaccine gets rolled out for COVID. But I think that the number of streamers out there is not going to decline at the same rate. And so as we all know, in business, in streaming, and YouTubing, and content creating, it's all about supply and demand. And the number of viewers, I think, will decrease by about 40% moving into this next year. But I think the number of streamers will only decrease by 10 to 20%, which means the competition got even higher in the streaming space and the YouTubing space for creators. But the viewership decreased exponentially more. So that means that it's going to become even more difficult to break through as a content creator in 2021 than it was in 2020. And I still think that as a live streamer in particular, you're going to still have to compete into close to about 10 million streamers. There's about 12 million active streamers right now, probably still going to be 10 million active streamers next year. And we just did a recent episode where we talked about the amount of competition for gaming on YouTube. There's currently 40 million creators on YouTube creating gaming content. That number is going to continue to go up as well. And so the competition's only increasing. It's only becoming more difficult to grow. So the question that we have to ask ourselves is, what platform should you be on in 2021 that have the greatest growth opportunity? And are there platforms that will potentially go out of business? So Ross, what is your spicy take on what platforms are hot, which ones are going to drop based on the numbers that we're seeing? And will some of them go out of business, like these weird ones with a lizard on it, like Trovo and stuff?
The lizard people platforms. Yes, Trovo and DLive are where you need to be in 2021. Actually, no. Actually, I think there's an argument to be made that platforms like DLive and Trovo, and Wild Parent before the episode made the good point that Trovo is backed by Tencent. I still believe that when it comes to satisfying the investors, if there's no growth on Trovo, I think that by the end of the year, Trovo will either be dead or be well on its way to dying. It may even be on life support. I don't even think DLive gets to the end of the year. For the platforms that I think will be beneficial for streamers in 2021, I think it's going to be your basics. I think Twitch and YouTube are going to probably end up being your top two, as expected. Facebook Gaming's the interesting one here, is because we don't necessarily know what Facebook Gaming is going to be doing in 2021. They're still a relatively new platform. They're still adding new features and adjusting their algorithm, what seems like every other day. So I think it's difficult to predict what happens with Facebook Gaming, but Twitch and YouTube up. Trovo, DLive, no go.
Perrin, is Trovo and DLive going out of business? So most of our viewers probably haven't even heard of Trovo and DLive. That's how irrelevant they are. But are they going out of business in 2021? These are streaming platforms similar to Twitch.
I don't see DLive surviving at all. I just don't see how. I mean, having streamed there for almost a year now, and they've even front paged me. Like, they're front paging me more than once, and they're desperate. Okay. And when I get front page, I get like plus 20 concurrent viewers who are not engaged at all. There's that site, that platform just has had no growth. I don't see how they can keep it going. They will close down in 2021. Trovo, I think Tencent's going to try really, really hard for a lot longer than just like 1 to 2 years here to try to make that work. I feel like they're going to feel like they have to make it work, and they're going to take a more of a 5-year approach to see if they can grow it. So it's not going to die in 2021, in my opinion. I think we'll see it stick around because Tencent has an infinite bucket of money they can just pour on top of it for quite a while longer. So I don't think they're going to be ditching that quite yet. They really, really want to make that work for the market. There's a lot of positive ramifications, not just revenue to generate, if they're able to create a successful streaming platform that Tencent operates. They own so many different gaming publishers and brands that them having control of their own live streaming marketing platform with its own cultivated viewership, it's worth a lot. It's worth at least a 5-year investment, if not a 10-year investment. So I feel like they're going to keep that going for longer because they've got the capital more than Microsoft had with Mixer, which we saw die in the last year. So Trovo will be around. DLive will die. Facebook Gaming, ? I think they'll be around, but they're going to face their biggest challenge yet in 2021. They've just dipped in concurrent viewership in between Q2 2020 and Q3 2020 from not a huge dip, but like 380,000 to 370,000. So only 10,000, but still, that dip is the first indication of them on a decline. They've been inclining since their inception as a live streaming platform. The fact that they're already starting to decline before even hitting 1 million concurrent viewers is an issue for them. So they're going to have growth problems as a platform in 2021. If they aren't able to solve it, they may be close to being out the door then at the end of the year or in 2022. That one I don't. Facebook Gaming will still be around for another year. It's not going to close down in 2021. That'll be my prediction, but it's going to have a lot of hurdles and it's going to have a lot of trouble beating those hurdles in the next year.
Got it. So here's my big 2021 prediction. Twitch is going to become even more unbearable to be on as a streamer, and you're going to see a lot of streamers complaining about it, but most streamers are going to stick around on Twitch because it's still quote unquote the most viable option, and they just don't know better. They think that going exclusive on Twitch is the way to go, and they think that path to affiliate and partnership is good for some reason, even though we've debunked that multiple times on the podcast. I think they're still going to retain the vast majority of streamers. 10 million plus will still be on Twitch. The biggest growth opportunity in 2021 for streaming, my big prediction is that it's actually YouTube. YouTube is the future of streaming. We're going to see those numbers continue to go up, 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 up. It's been trending up in multiple ways. And I think that building an actual YouTube channel, let's just show the numbers right here. Building an actual YouTube channel, this is the average concurrent viewership on YouTube. It has not slowed down at all. Look at this, from last year, 2019 through 2020, it was at 328,000 average concurrent viewers for gaming streamers, up to 758,000. I think this trend over the course of next year is going to go over 1 million, and it's going to start to rival Twitch's viewership, but the number of streamers on the platform isn't even close. And so I think the big platform takeaway from AWOL, at least on this podcast today, for gaming creators is double, triple, and quadruple down on YouTube this year. Make a YouTube channel that has edited videos as your primary channel. Make a secondary live channel that you go live on. And then if you have time, or you can hire an editor, do a clips channel in addition to that, and have a 3 YouTube channel strategy in 2021. The YouTube algorithm is still the most powerful algorithm out there. Despite the fact that there's issues with copyright claims and what have you on YouTube for creators, they at least have a copyright claim system. There's at least a way to debate and get rid of a claim or to counter a copyright strike on your channel. At least you have a chance to fight those things. Whereas on platforms like Twitch, you just get wrecked and there's nothing you can do about it. So 2021, I think YouTube is the king platform for gaming creators. And if you guys are looking at how should I spend my time, YouTube this year. And as a live streamer, you should strongly consider restreaming to multiple platforms, with YouTube being where you spend most of your time on video content. We're sponsored by Restream, and Ross is going to drop in chat right now a link. If you click that, and it's also below in the YouTube video as well, if you click that, you can stream to multiple platforms at the same time. For example, this live stream we're doing right now, we've got hundreds of concurrent viewers on Twitter, on Periscope that are watching us, plus YouTube, plus Trovo, plus DLive, plus Facebook. We've exponentially grown our own avenues using Restream, and we recommend that you use it because we use it every single day. Anyway, thank you for sponsoring the podcast. Let's move on to the next topic, which is the games that are going to trend in 2021 and which ones are going to die. And we've done previous episodes on where YouTube in particular released the data saying, these are the top games on all of YouTube. And what were they? Mobile games. And so, Perrin, I see that you have a tweet pulled up here from one of our good friends, friend of the show, Dusky Gaming, who has his top picks of mobile games to keep your eye on. Run us through this list.
Yeah, so he's listing Wild Rift, Diablo Immortal, Pokemon Unite, Catalyst Black, Apex Legends Mobile, and Fall Guys Mobile. Like, these are all, even just dropping these titles into a tweet, even if you knew nothing about them, they already look interesting. Wild Rift being maybe the question mark. That one's a League of Legends for mobile. It's already out in Asian markets. It's going to be coming in the US in about this spring. So it'll be hitting US markets soon. It's already pretty big and it's growing slower than maybe expected in those markets. Diablo Immortal, some streamers have already gotten their hands on a really, really early copy, and it's been performing pretty well on Twitch so far. I don't know a whole lot about Pokemon Unite, Catalyst Black, Apex Legends, or Fall Guys Mobile, other than those trends were so big with their former console or PC titles that they will have enough marketing and traction to do well in mobile as well. So we're going to see a bigger expansion of mobile games across the board, of different streamers streaming mobile games, and it growing in 2021, while we see things like console and PC titles becoming a little bit more niche. And I think mobile becomes more of a mainstream. Viewers around the world and creators around the world have more access to phones than they do a monstrous PC rig.
Do you
to
not
do
have
this type of
phones?
stuff.
Do you not
So
have phones?
Exactly. Diablo Immortal's meme, do you not have phones, actually makes sense here. So many people have phones that this type of content is universally accessible by a much wider audience. And any marketer knows the wider audience has higher viewership. There's just more people to work with. There's more target market, more advertising that you can do. It's just a more lucrative business opportunity in general across the board. So more advertisers are going to be interested, more creators will get interested, and all the viewers are going to be, of course, tuned in as well. So I think the big one here that will be interesting, in my opinion, will be Diablo Immortal, because it's a question mark of, can Blizzard Entertainment go to a whole new vertical and appeal to a non-US English speaking audience, aka the Asian market. And if they can, that's going to have huge ramifications for the gaming industry. If they can't, then Blizzard's going to be running into some issues in the next couple of years.
Do you believe in the mobile gaming takeover, Ross? Are you believing the hype? I mean, the numbers say mobile games are just rapidly taking over the entire creator, streamer, YouTuber industry. Do you think it's going to be much slower than the numbers indicate?
No, I think it's going to be pretty fast. I think that what we're seeing right now in 2021 is kind of going to be the start of a major trend towards mobile gaming as far as viewership goes, just completely widening the gap. You know, we see the games that he has listed here. Fall Guys, by the way, it comes out in China first. Obviously, that's probably going to end up releasing everywhere and has potential to be big. But look at this: Path of Exile mobile, Warhammer Odyssey, Kingdom Hearts Dark Road, 3 new Marvel games, Devil May Cry mobile, Tomb Raider, H1Z1, EverQuest, Plants vs. Zombies 3, Total War, Lord of the Rings, Final Fantasy, as he has listed there, and Harry Potter. We're seeing some major titles. Now, I know a lot of these have apps and little small games, but these are major mobile games coming out next year. Not to mention all the other mobile games that have completely taken over the market are going to be getting improvements going into next year. We're seeing major studios bring major titles to mobile. That's where the trend is heading. Major studios see that mobile gaming is a huge cash grab. They can go in there and make billions and billions of dollars. It would be absolutely stupid for these major studios and development companies to not go into mobile gaming. But, you know, obviously we're a creator podcast, so I can't say obviously every single one of these games is going to grow your channel. I'm just saying that these major titles, plus obviously more I didn't get into, show a clear indication that almost every studio in some capacity is shifting their attention to mobile gaming, and that's going to peak, or maybe not peak, it's going to continue the uprise in a major way in 2021. And you know, at this point, if your stream or your channel isn't growing and you're not at least having the conversation with yourself about transitioning into mobile gaming, you're doing yourself a huge disservice at this point. I'm sorry if you don't like mobile gaming, but when you see the potential numbers you get, I bet you start liking it a little bit more.
Ooh, look at that. Ross getting spicy on the podcast
Get a little attitude
today.
on. Yeah.
Ooh, he's got his attitude. So mobile gaming. So for all of you guys out there that want to go full time as a gaming content creator, the business element of mobile gaming is maybe the most important for you to know. It doesn't matter how many viewers, it doesn't matter how many subscribers, it doesn't matter how many concurrents you have as a gaming content creator. If you don't make enough money to go full time, all of it's irrelevant. And the most lucrative sponsorship and advertising opportunities to put money in your pocket to pay your rent, to pay your cell phone bill, to buy you that new computer, to pay your internet bill, and all those things you need as a content creator to actually go full time, the most lucrative sponsorships, the most lucrative financial opportunities are in mobile gaming. Mobile games. Raid Shadow Legends, have you ever seen an ad for that? Supercell games, have you ever seen an ad for that? Candy Crush, have you ever seen an ad for that? Have you ever seen an ad for mobile games? Of course you have, because mobile games make tens of billions of dollars every single year. They make the majority of the revenue in the gaming industry. So they have the money to sponsor your stream. They have the money to sponsor your YouTube channel. They have the money to sponsor your videos. And even if you have small viewership on your channel, you can get a lucrative ad opportunity from a mobile gaming developer and publisher. They'll give tiny YouTubers $500, $1,000 just for one video. You stack a few of those up per month, you're full time, just like that in mobile gaming. So the creators I work with, some of them only get like 200,000 to 300,000 views per month, maybe 500,000 on a good month. And then we talk about their finances. I'm like, are you okay financially? When I'm coaching them, I'm like, look, I know the viewers are a bit low on your channel right now. How are you doing financially? They're like, I'm fine. Last month I made $50,000 in mobile gaming sponsorships, even though I only got 500,000 views per month on my YouTube channel. Mobile games are where the money is at. Mobile games are where the development is at, and mobile games are the future of gaming. You can hate that or not, it doesn't really matter. If you want to be playing the AAA titles 5 years from now, guess where they're going to be? Right here. They're all right here. All the money is right here. And cloud gaming and console gaming and PC gaming, it's all going cloud so that they can put those games right here. It's all moving right over here, and cloud is going to facilitate and kill off console and PC gaming as a mainstream gaming platform. And that's going to facilitate mobile games, basically you being able to play every single AAA PC and console game on your mobile phone. Cloud gaming is already enabling that through things like Xbox Game Pass, Nvidia service, etc. And that's what's going to facilitate the transition from console and PC to mobile, to where mobile literally is all of gaming in the future. 2021, I agree with you guys, is the breaking point where PC and console, this is the last generation where they're a major factor in the market, in my opinion. That's another big prediction. This is the last generation where Xbox and PlayStation and PC gaming have any sort of significant portion of the pie. They're going to move down to only a 40 or 30% portion of the gaming revenue pie by the next 8 years or so. And so when the next generation of consoles comes out, there'll be a tiny niche in comparison to mobile gaming, which is going to have about 70% or more of the total gaming industry revenue. That's just facts, man. Those are facts, Jack. So get ready for it. As a gaming content creator, if you want to be a part of the future, pick up your freaking phone and start learning about mobile games, or you're just going to be completely left behind. I'm sorry if you don't like that, but that's just the truth. Other spicy takes, Perrin. You got to have something spicy in that brain of yours. What else you got for 2021?
Yeah, let's move over to general trends. So in 2020, we've seen creators have to adapt and react even harder to different things going on in politics with other streamers. We've seen really, really interesting, controversial takes in the streaming community, and they've done it in order to grow. And we're only going to see that continue even to a deeper level. So expect creators to have even spicier takes of their own, even more controversial takes, just to even get clicks. Expect even more bans for ridiculous reasons on Twitch. That stuff is just going to get more volatile and more volatile, because with a more competitive gaming and live streaming space and a creator space, less viewership, more creators vying over less pieces of the pie, everyone's going to have to do even more to stand out. And we're going to see some ridiculous stuff, even more ridiculous than the whole Dr. Disrespect thing, even more ridiculous than every single big streamer getting banned from Twitch this year. It's going to be even more than that. So expect some crazy stuff going on from creators. And maybe you as a creator should be thinking about how you can react to different things to stay relevant, to stay trending, and to get noticed, because you're going to have to do something to break out of the mold in this really, really competitive landscape. I don't know what they're all going to be. I guarantee you a lot more streamers will get banned for doing pretty much nothing, mostly just because they have not advertiser safe content. Basically, I'm looking at Forsen. Forsen's recent bans have led me onto this as well. Forsen is interesting because he really, his audience dictates the meta of live streaming. Like, most of the memes that are used on Twitch come or originate from his channel, and him getting banned and almost getting banned again yesterday, it bodes poorly for other streamers who are at the forefront of streaming, but they aren't advertiser friendly. The whole industry is moving that way. Twitch needs to get more advertisers on board. Streamers need to be more music safe, or else more DMCA claims are coming down the road, and they are coming down the road. We've got legislation already passed now in the United States that makes illegal streaming of music a felony. So you're going to see the laws change around this stuff, and not a positive way for creators as well. It's going to be
so bad.
It's going to be a challenging landscape. I just dropped a whole lot there. You guys agree with that? Disagree with that? Ross, what do you think, man?
Yeah, I agree.
Spice it up to the next level, buddy. Hit us with that hot sauce.
I agree. If you guys want another hot take, I got one here. By the way, everything Perrin just said was absolutely right. The Twitch DMCAs and everything. That's going to be a huge problem and huge concern for live streamers and gaming channels just in general moving forward. Cyberpunk 2077's colossal failure has the potential to be a positive turning point for game development. Let's go back and look at what happened here. At launch, it cost the founders $1 billion in wealth, mass refunds issued, Sony removed it from the PlayStation Store, and now a class action lawsuit filed for investors. That's a lot of shit that a lot of other developments don't want. So, with that said, I hope and pray that the higher ups at 343 Studios are listening and see that. Obviously, I think that there's going to be a lot of games that are released early, but I think this generally has helped creators say, okay, we got to be, help creators, gamers, and everyone, developers say, we got to be more patient with this and we got to let this get out. I think what happened to Cyberpunk this year is the best thing that could have happened to Halo Infinite next year. I think if it releases next fall, which I don't even know if they've given an exact release date for it, I think it could be delayed even longer. I don't think that game launches until it's absolutely perfect, and I think it will be a hit.
Wow, so many spicy takes, so little time. I'm going to react to what you just said. I don't think any company will ever learn the lesson that you're talking about. So I wish you were right, but I don't think so. So I think we're going to see most big titles, most big multiplayer titles have botched launches moving forward. Never going to change. They just will. Occasionally there'll be a multiplayer title with a smooth launch and they'll be very successful. But most of them will be completely botched. I don't see that pattern changing, because at the end of the day, these executives are pushed by their board of directors to release games and make money within a certain timeline. They tell investors, we're going to make this much money by the end of this year. And then the investors are waiting for that money to come in. And if they say, well, we're going to delay the game till the following year, all of a sudden they let down all of their investors and they don't get their multi-million-dollar bonus the way that they would normally. So as a CEO, you think, okay, do I want to put $8 million in my pocket with my bonus and have this game come out next year? Or do I want to just release it this year and put $8 million in my pocket? Do I want $8 million in my pocket, or do I not want $8 million in my pocket? And obviously the answer is they want millions of dollars in their pocket. That will never change. I'm sorry. I don't think they're going to learn any lessons. They'll talk about it. There'll be meetings about Cyberpunk. Gaming developers will talk about how they're going to improve. But at the end of the day, the CEOs are going to CEO, and they're going to release half-baked games to the public, and they're going to juice it out and make a bunch of money, and they won't care at all. That's my hot take there. Now, in terms of clickbait, I agree. I think that streamers, in order to break through in this extremely competitive landscape that we're in right now, will have to do crazier and crazier crap on their streams. So I think that you're going to see the rise of people in costumes, people playing as characters, and people doing extremely unique things where if you see them in a feed at a glance, they're the streamer that's getting the viewership on Twitch. It's the same thing as, and I brought this prop because, and I don't care if it's relevant, I'm bringing this prop into the show. Wacky waving inflatable arm flailing tube men. So why do you see these at car dealerships? Why do you see these all over the place trying to get your attention on the road? It's because when you're in an extremely competitive market, in any market, you have to do something stupid and crazy to get people's attention. And that's why you see wacky waving inflatable arm flailing tube men in front of cell phone businesses, pawn shops, and car dealerships, because those are extremely competitive businesses. And the dumber the marketing is, the louder the marketing, the more obnoxious the marketing is in an extremely competitive space, the more attention in business you get. So I think Perrin's prediction about how streamers are going to clickbait, they're going to do the hottest take, they're going to wear crazy costumes. I think most of the top streamers that you see emerging in the future are going to be some kind of dumb character where they're like dressed up as a knight, or they're dressed up as a superhero every stream, or there's some kind of trying to be the next Dr. Disrespect, or they're going to say some crazy stuff about Joe Biden or whatever it is. Inflammatory takes are going to get higher and higher up on the list because that's exactly what we saw in other mediums like magazines, radio, and TV that came before this. The news networks and the content that's live that had the craziest thing on the screen all the time got the viewership. Why do you think CNN, why do you think the news, the headline at the bottom is always about a fire or somebody dying or a bomb or terrorism or democracy is over or whatever? The craziest thing on the screen gets the clicks. And so moving forward in the gaming live streaming space, now that it is a fully developed industry, a multi-billion-dollar industry, the craziest thing on the screen will get the viewership in 2021 and beyond. So be prepared for the dumbest things you've ever seen in live streaming on the screen to happen in 2021. Why? Because competition increased. People didn't get dumber, just competition increased, and they need to do more stupid crap like the wacky waving inflatable arm flailing tube man to get people's attention. So Perrin, I would like to give you the wacky waving inflatable arm flailing tube man award for best prediction of the episode.
Yeah, I think that one was pretty easy. We're going in that direction. So we do this every year. We do prediction episodes. We want you guys to hold us accountable. We want to hear your predictions as well. And we want you to check back this episode whenever that stuff comes true within the next year. Do we have any final takes for 2021 before we close out here, guys?
I got one, and I actually like to get your opinion on it. It's not a hot take though. We've talked about this before, and it's 100% going to happen. We are going to see a non-gaming takeover of streaming sites like Twitch. We're going to see just chatting. We're going to see a lot of politicians come into the fold. We're going to be seeing a lot of other things that probably haven't even been imagined yet start coming on these platforms that have nothing to do with gaming. And it's gaming is still going to grow, in my opinion, but the things like just chatting and the things like having political streams, whether it be religious service, anything, I think that's going to far surpass gaming in 2021, or at least start to make that connection.
Perrin, do you agree? Do you think gaming is going to be smaller in comparison to just chatting and non-gaming streams on things like Twitch?
Oh yeah, for sure. Now that we've seen a lot of different verticals and industries wet their palate with live streaming, especially on Twitch in 2020, that's only going to grow and expand as other creators find ways to appeal to the gaming demographic on Twitch. And that's the thing. You have other verticals, other industries appealing to gamers. Specifically, maybe they're not gamers themselves, but using their platform to pick up a gaming audience for their products, for whatever they're doing in the creator space. If they're just a different type, maybe a lifestyle creator or something like that, that is all going to grow continuously. Gaming will still make up a huge portion of it. It always will. But I think you're going to see that, cooking, music, just chatting, everything else under the sun, really, that isn't gaming, continue to expand in different ways. I think things like interview talk shows are going to come back. You're going to have a lot more, maybe less podcast type stuff, but more full on shows of just human beings interacting. It's not necessarily talking about gaming all the time. Yeah, I would completely agree with that. 100% going to happen in 2021.
To tie everything together there, I think to your point about just chatting, we've seen the numbers. We've seen just chatting skyrocketing in this year in terms of becoming the biggest category on Twitch. It becoming the biggest category on Twitch in 2021 does seem inevitable. So I agree, Ross. And I think that doubles down on the idea we were talking about a moment ago of clickbait and hot takes.
Yep.
It's much easier to have a hot take in a talk show or just talking to the camera, because you can talk about whatever the inflammatory issue is of the day. You can say crazy stuff about some reality show. You can throw some dirt at some other streamer or creator. You can throw some dirt at the president of the United States. You can say some crazy conspiracy theory about pedophiles or something. And then people will click and come to your stream and argue with you. And as chat starts to blow up, the viewership numbers start to blow up, the viral sharing starts to happen. And so just chatting allows people to just be inflammatory and to be ridiculous and to talk about things like politics or pop culture and just be bad people too and benefit from that financially. So streamers, be prepared for that. Be prepared to see a lot of angering things and try not to let it affect you emotionally, and don't fall into the trap of doing negative clickbait things just for the views, because people that do that will eventually get banned. They'll eventually probably get deplatformed, as we've seen in the most extreme cases, and they won't have a loyal viewership that'll stick around for a really long time in one place. They'll end up having this really volatile career. Do you want that? Do you want people coming at you all the time with that hatred and negativity? Probably not. So don't fall to the dark side. Thank you so much for watching. Those are our predictions. Who knows? We'll revisit it next year and see how wrong we were and how young we looked after the worst year of our lives, 2021.